Hey guys, episode 5 of the Blues. My name is Dan, I'm the Jazz Shepherd. We've been doing a shout out to the Negro Leagues in this whole series. Special time in American history. Sometimes if you don't get a quality, you make your own. And the great players in the Negro Leagues, from Josh Gibson to Satchel Paige, they were as great as any of the white players in baseball in America. And all the records in baseball that stand before integration should have an asterisk. A lot of the best players weren't in the big leagues, guys. Sorry. Ty Cobb, you can go ahead and fuck yourself, you racist pig. You might be one of the best hitters ever, but you're still a fucking cunt. Enough on baseball. Guess I'm kind of sad it's not happening right now, but it makes sense that it's not. Here we are now going into the modern era of the Blues. And to me, Bobby Blue Bland is a guy that kind of really issues in the modern era. His stuff is very R&B meets the blues. It's very modern. It's very accessible. This song actually shows up in soundtracks from time to time. Another guy named Juke Boy Bonner, sorry, is that same kind of modern player. And then a guy that, if I recall, was at Woodstock and really crossed over into the hippie scene was Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal has a lot of traditional blues, but you can also hear Janis Joplin in that. Jefferson Airplane. You know what I mean? There's some psychedelic hippie rock blues with Taj Mahal. He's got a number of great records. He was very popular with the white consumer. And so that's going to get us into the white guys. No more Taj Mahal, it's the greatest hits. So where that brings us now to me is John Mayall. And John Mayall was a British cat, and he was buying old 45s of the American blues guys, and he was a harp player, and he was kind of the leader of the British wave of the blues. And by no means was he the only guy, but the Blues Breakers, featuring Eric Clapton, also featured Peter Green, also featured the Fleetwood Mac members, a number of other giant, I think Mick Taylor, who joined the Stones, was a blues breaker. Was Jeff Beck a blues breaker at one point too? It's been a while since I listened to Blues Breakers, but it's very much in the Black American tradition. But it was these British white cats doing the blues and having these records come over to America that turned white Americans onto the blues. And I have a ton of John Mayall records. I'm not even going to show you all of them. I'm going to show you, this is John McVie, Ainsley Dunbar, Peter Green's on that. I have a ton of his records. I'm only going to show you some of the earlier ones, the 60s stuff for the most part. He's just comfortable playing along with a harp. I love this record. Side 2 has no percussion on it. California, that's a great song. But he's really giving a home to all the young British kids who are learning about the blues. And like I said, dozens of records. They keep coming out in the 70s and the 80s. And it's high-level stuff. I'm sure someone will correct me about Mick Taylor. I think Jeff Beck was a blues breaker as well for a minute. So a lot of your great UK blues players are rooted in the Blues Breakers. And they play a great version of the blues. And that kind of translates into what was happening around the country. Cream, who make 2 or 3 of the best rock records ever. That's black music. White folks never thought of no shit like that. White folks never thought about, how can I eat and play music at the same time? You gotta have space in there to do it in between. Paul Butterfield Blues Band, another guy from England that was a real professor of the blues. One of the first American groups to come along.
Man, I got the ham and brown sugar. Man, it's just gonna make me feel so right.
That's ZZ Top. And what's that sound like? ZZ Top from these Afterburner, Fandango, Worldwide Texas Tour, Eliminator, Tres Hombres, Rio Grande Mud, Tejas. That's the blues. Even Sharp Dressed Man is the blues. It's, again, the foundation. Even a lot of the hair metal bands were playing the blues. And as a kid, I was incapable of hearing that. I had no concept of it, that Line to Texas was a blues song, but it was. Stones. You gotta move. You gotta move. The Stones pretty much throughout their career, on a lot of their classic albums, are doing a lot of the blues. And they're also doing a lot of rhythm and blues. There's another song I'm trying to think of here. But again, Exile on Main Street, to me, their greatest record ever, and probably the greatest rock and roll record ever. It's saturated with the drunk blues. They're in the south of France, getting hammered, trying to find their inner black. And they do a great job. And American white people ate it up. They loved the sexual, slanky, naughty British music. And boy, those UK people are sure risque. In our white, oppressed American sexuality, we thought the British were just leading the world. And it was really, to me, one of the sad things, how, again, the Americans didn't grasp this as American music. It doesn't get much bluesier than that. Thank you, Willie Dixon. Thank you, Muddy Waters. Thank you to that whole lineage of black musicians who didn't make shit, didn't own shit, were unknown in their own homeland. And Led Zeppelin comes along and made millions of dollars playing the blues. And I'm not naive. Zeppelin is more than just the blues, but they are rooted firmly in the blues. And Jimmy will be the first one to tell you that. Robert will be the first one to tell you that. The Yardbirds, again, firmly rooted in black American blues music. It's we don't even recognize the language because we all speak it so well, but we don't really add no letters to the alphabet. We don't really push the envelope beyond what was given to us. We're pretty much just communicating in a language that we stole. Edgar Winter, a good-looking young man. It's so rooted in the blues, and I'm repeating myself, I think, at this point. But the last guy I want to show you might be the first guy who came along and maybe added something to the conversation. What Stevie Ray Vaughan might have added to the conversation is an incredible level of virtuosity. And a lot of the blues greats have a virtuosity to them, but it's always kind of about the feel and the emoting and the storytelling. Stevie Ray Vaughan, I believe the Texans love the blues for some reason. His first 3, 4, 5 records really document a chapter of the blues. And what's great about Stevie Ray Vaughan is we're in Columbia Studios now, Epic Records, and the production value now is at the top of the mark. And so you're going to hear the blues as polished and as gleaming and as shiny as blues can get. Most of the blues up to this point has been a rough diamond. It's had edges to it, it's polished in parts, but there's usually a lot of dirt still on that crystal. A lot of blood, some shit, some jizz. It's a messy, messy beast. This is a polished stone. This is a gemstone. This is jazz blues at its most polished, refined, produced, packaged, and in some ways safe. But make no mistake, Stevie's a bad player, and these records are great, and they have stood the test of time. And the thing about the blues is, almost all those groups I showed you, ZZ Top, the Stones, the Beatles even borrowed the blues, of course, the Yardbirds, these groups, Janis Joplin loved the blues. You know, a lot of those groups are the ones that have really stood the test of time in rock and roll history. They're rooted so firmly in an American tradition, and the blues is a legacy that lives on in American culture. It's a part of film, it's a part of TV soundtracks, it's capable of creating a mood and an atmosphere without having to say a word. You can put a blues track on in a movie, and there might be a beer bottle about to fly around. I'm talking about you, Roadhouse. I'm talking about you, Adventures in Babysitting. I'm talking about the movie after movie after movie. The blues is used to discuss that elixir of the drunk experience, heartache, heartbreak. And for a white player, heartache is really the extent of what his blues experience talks about. And I think they probably think they're getting it, but I think in the black experience there's so much more being vented. So I'm going to leave it at that. The blues is a very personal thing. Discover what you love, buy what you like. I don't think it's got as many chapters and facets as jazz does. You know, I think you can be pretty comfortable finding the blues you like and staying in that lane. There's not 1,000 doorways to go through to see, do I like this? Do I like that? There is chapters, there is different sounds, there is regional sounds. So there's lots to discover in the blues, but at the same time the blues is still always the blues on a lot of levels. And if it hits you in the gut, makes you kind of hungry, and make you want to crack up on a whiskey jug, it's probably the blues. I'm the Jazz Shepherd. Subscribe to my channel. Y'all stay safe out there. Be blessed. I'm honored y'all are part of my life. This is helping me get through this time as well. Again, peace, safety, love, and y'all be strong, man. Peace.